All right, so let's see. Cosine is -1/4. We have to do this on the unit circle. On the unit circle, cosine is an x value, so that's like saying x is -1/4. We're in the second quadrant. Finding the sine is like finding the y value on the unit circle. So here is my unit circle. 1, 1, -1.
Tiny
And
class.
we have some people online.
Always a small class.
It is always a small class, yeah. Let's see, x is -1/4, so that would be about a half, -1/4 would be about there. So I'm looking at this x value. And I want the version of this in the second quadrant, so that means I'm focused on that xy combination. So I want to find this y value. That is what I'm calling theta. All right, and it doesn't ask for theta here, it just says what's the sine. And we know that either we can write it as x squared plus y squared equals 1. And we know what x is. Or I know some of you like to write cosine of theta squared plus sine of theta squared equals 1. And either way will give us the solution we desire. So I'm going to use the version with less ink. My x is -1/4. Negative times negative is a positive. 1/4 times 1/4 is 1/16. So then I'll have to subtract the 1/16. And again, I'm going to take the time to write that as 16/16 because I make mistakes in my head all the time, and this is a test. 16 minus 1 is 15/16. And so now I'm ready to take the square root. Technically, it is a plus or a minus, but given that I'm in the quadrant 2 version of this, I want the positive, not the minus, so I'm just going to get rid of that. That's an okay answer, but I would hope you'd recognize 16 as a perfect square and rewrite this as the square root of 15 over square root of 16, which is 4. And when you're working with square roots and fractions, be careful to make sure to note that you use the square root symbol properly to indicate whether something is inside the root or not inside the root. If it's not clear to me, that's a problem. So it needs to be clear to me and you. And that is a 5, believe it or not. No better. So then I might follow up with saying, okay, it looks like the sine of theta here is square root of 15 over 4. And if there's a lot of stuff going on your page, then you might want to circle that to bring it to my attention. So that's my final answer. Unless the problem asks for more than one answer, don't do an or. Why? What if one of them isn't quite right? Then that means the whole thing's not quite right. So it's better to just pick what you think is the best answer, unless it specifically says, give me more than one answer. Then you'll have to do that. All right, and this is the no calculator part. We don't have a chance for decimal approximation. However, just thinking about this a little bit, square root of 15 over 4. Well, square root of 15 is close to the square root of 16, but a little less. So that means this number is a little less than 1. And on my picture, that seems pretty reasonable, a little less than 1. Right, so the picture's helping me back up that I'm in the right direction.